one doesn't have that the other one has is skin, which that should be obvious. If I point to that, that's the integumentary. Okay, all this kind of maroon, this is skeletal muscle, be part of the muscular system. It's actually taken out inside of the cranial cavity would be the brain, okay, which is part of the nervous system. And then this other blue, this is your vertebral or spinal cavity. So that would be where the spinal cord would be found. When you start talking about respiratory structures, it includes everything, even the passageways that air has to go in. So that would include your nasal cavity. Throat is what we commonly use. Technically, that's called pharynx. Okay, when you get to this big blue in front, kind of the blue shield, that's where the larynx is. Within that is where your vocal cords are found. Okay, right beneath that is actually a gland called the thyroid gland. That's part of the endocrine system. The passageway that continues from the larynx is this rigid blue. That is the trachea. Okay, to see the rest of it, I have to remove other parts of the respiratory, the lungs, and the heart, which would be part of the cardiovascular, as well as these two big blue vessels that go into the heart. Those are called vena cava. That's plural. And you have superior, inferior. So those are just dumping blood into the heart. Vessels are also cardiovascular. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. Oh, I take this one out. Okay, so now you can see that the trachea splits. Okay, basically when it gets kind of the middle of the lung. Those are called bronchi. And those basically get smaller and smaller until you actually get to the small sacs of the lungs. That's as far as you'll have to know. Behind or deep to the trachea or posterior is this green tube, which goes also from the throat, quote unquote. Okay, anything that you put in your mouth is digestive. That goes down the same pharynx for a little bit. But instead, air goes through the larynx, food goes through esophagus. Okay, so the esophagus is deeper posterior to the trachea.
Oh, so they split right there when you swallow. That right after that it splits.
Right after that it splits, yes. So this green tube, if I remove the liver, which is mainly digestive, and actually right underneath the liver, the green sac is called the gallbladder, which is also digestive. That allows you to see the green tube dumps into digestive stomach. And the stomach dumps into this green tube, which is the same as all this green, in the middle, which is the small intestine. Thank you. The small intestines end about right here. I'm actually going to take this out. Actually, okay, where the small intestine dumps into the large, I don't think I said this for other ones, this is the appendix. Okay, that's where the appendix is. It hangs down from the first part of the large intestine. And the large intestine is this gray that kind of outlines the abdominal area. That's all large intestine. And then it dumps into the rectum and anus. If you remember, the stomach was right here. Okay, so deep or posterior to the stomach is the pancreas. Pancreas is considered digestive and endocrine. If I remove this, okay, behind you can see the dark, and actually this one they've removed this kidney. You do have one on both sides. This is your kidney. Right above it is the adrenal gland. Kidney is urinary. Adrenal gland is endocrine. I really wouldn't expect you to know this, but this is just the tube that drains the kidney of urine and stored in the urinary bladder, which is, of course, urinary. Any red, blue that you see, those are vessels, so those would be cardiovascular. Things that are not on this model. Right above the heart would be your thymus gland, which is endocrine. And I've actually never seen any model that has that. Also, the green, which you see kind of in this inguinal or iliac region, and in your armpit, axillary region. That's part of the lymphatic system. The skinny parts are the vessels, which are picking up the excess fluid. And the kind of globular parts are the lymph nodes, which are filtering. And they have the white blood cells to attack anything, bacteria or anything, if it's in that fluid. Anyone think of anything I missed?
Spleen.
Spleen. Oh, yeah. And this model's horrible. Okay.
That's where the stomach is, right?
Yeah, it's right next to it. Okay, so this right here, this blue, this would actually be the parietal pleura, because that's surrounding the lung. Directly below that, that is your diaphragm. Okay, that splits the ventral cavity into thoracic, abdominal, pelvic. Immediately underneath the diaphragm, and I really don't like this model because they attach it to the lung, is your spleen. Okay, it is basically tucked up on the left side. So it's lateral to your stomach. Any other ones? I think I got them. Okay.